So we got a comic book here, and again, we're gonna stay impartial. These are important. Uh, it's important that we do so because people are depending on us
Yeah.
to roast. I mean, review these comics impartially. So this is I mean, oh my God, here. Hold on a second. I get this and then put this here, and there we go. This is Shadow of the Conqueror, Enemies of Self. That's a hardcover. And I want to thank the wonderful oh my God, look how gay Mike's art is, dude.
It went right from Kanan White to Mike Miller, like, oh.
I know. You got a Kano White cover. Mike did do a cover, like one of the covers for this. But the guy who bought it chose Kanan's cover. And I will say, like, good move. Mike's cover was really bad. This is interesting because Kanan White, unlike Mike, knows that, like, hey, not everything is a superhero book. You know what I mean? It's like not everything needs to be a superhero book. This is a kind of a fantasy book, and therefore drawing it as though it were an episode of or an issue of the Justice League is inappropriate. Let me pull this up a little bit here. I get more of it in frame.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you need to set a tone. Set a tone.
Set a tone. By the way, this right here bothered me. Like I was looking at this on camera and I went, "Oh, I got light coming in somewhere." No, this is actually on the book itself.
Yeah, I thought that was a glare. Okay.
It's not a glare. This is a glare. This is something else. Like, wait, people were complaining about the glares, but should I turn off my light so that we can get? What do you think of that?
Are the interiors gloss or are they matte or satin? Yeah, a little gloss on there. Yeah,
let me turn on my light. I'll be right back here. Shadow of the Conqueror. Really good cover by the incredibly lazy Kanan White.
Yes.
So Shadow of the Conqueror, Enemies of Self, which right here, this could be Mike's biography, Enemies of Self. Mike is his own worst enemy. I think we can agree with that. I don't know much about Shadiversity except I saw this video that he made where I've seen his drawings. His drawings are really gay. They're like a 13-year-old girl drew them. A lot of like drawings of little tiny nymph-like women holding gigantic swords. It's all very like if you see a big like a sword as a penis, which it is a phallic object, right?
Yeah.
And then all you do is draw 13-year-old girls like holding them. It's like, and they're way too big. It's no, I'm talking about Shadiversity. I'm talking about Shad Brooks. Like all the drawings that I've seen of him, and to me that's creepy. To me that's weird. But he likes it, and then he runs those through an AI filter and makes them look good. It is interesting. And then I saw him in this little video where his brother is named something Jazza Brooks, and he's actually an accomplished internet artist. Like he's got his own YouTube channel where he teaches people how to draw.
I think I might have heard that guy, Jazza. Is it like Brit, Australian? Okay, yeah. I think I might have seen a video of his. What do you think about that logo?
This logo?
Yeah, Shadow of the Conqueror. What do you think about that? Like the font type? Like you think that's like a good call on that?
I don't care. Like I don't like. It doesn't make me want to read it any more or less than I already do. What do you think?
It makes me think that it's gay. Like the Q with that little curly Q up in there. It looks like I feel like it reads Shadow of the Queer. Like it's not like if
so if this part jumps out to you right here. You just see queer, the word
Shadow of the Queer. Yeah. What if you're gonna do Shadow of the Conqueror? That's like a Conan thing. Like it should be big and weighty, like Conqueror, Shadow of the Conqueror, and it's like Shadow of the Conqueror.
Enemies of Self. You know, we're always our own worst enemies. We really are. We struggle with self-doubt, etc., etc. It's like we're under the shadow of the Conqueror, and the Conqueror is our own lack of self-esteem.
Yeah, just let your buddy put his dick in your mouth.
All right, so we open the book and we see this. This book belongs to Ethan. This is what I would do, like, when I was a kid. You have a space like this, you put, book along Steve.
I'm gonna say that looks terrible.
Yeah,
you're just trying to make it look like a novel, I guess. When you look, it's just like a novel. Like, here's this nice little blank page, a little cottony, and get the fuck out of here.
It looks fake. Like these, you can design these. Like you can put art here. You know what I mean? Yeah. And they chose not to. I mean, they had all this Mike S. Miller artwork, and they chose not to reproduce any of it here. No, thank you, they said, in essence.
Yeah, if you're going to do that, though, if you got those pages to burn, like I've been doing this recently with like a Megastorm. I just went with black. Like, it's cinematic. It's like a black screen. If you're going to put your Indicia information down there on the left in white, that's cool. But just nice, big black. It makes it feel a little different. I like it.
You don't like the swimming pool water?
No, I don't
here?
like that.
No. All right. Yeah. This looks really weird too. Shadow of the Conqueror, Enemies of Self, and then you've got this here, some land floating in space here, islands in space, and then this makes it look like a textbook. I don't know what it is, but this looks like I've got to make sure that I have a paper bag book cover on it, and I will need to return it to the school at the end of the year. Shadiversity Pty Limited, Honor Guard Productions. This, John, this is the Liberace of swords. Yes or no?
Yeah, it's flamboyant.
This looks like it was designed by Napoleon Dynamite. You know what I mean? Like in his notebook. That's the other thing it looks like to me. Like Napoleon Dynamite would be like, I designed this wicked blade.
Yeah. I like that they put it on two opposing pages. Like, hey, this sword and also this sword.
And then another, it's like here, and it's the same sword. It's not any different. I mean,
yeah.
As I was saying, like Shad, I don't watch his channel at all, but he seems to fetishize swords, blades. He thinks they are awesome. They're really awesome, and they are. A sword is nice, but like he imagines this hilt here, which is fucking like this hilt. It looks like something Nancy Kerrigan would wear around her roller skate or her ice skate.
It's like a tiara on the handle.
A tiara, yeah, like it's Miss America's sword. Everyone, it is gay. All right, not. I don't know if it's Mike's fault. I don't know if Mike designed that sword. I wouldn't be surprised if he did.
Yeah. Oh, looks like either he or Mike are a fan of maps.
Yeah, I always suspected Mike was a fan of maps. I always assumed, and maybe Mike, is the kind of guy who, thinks about maps quite a bit.
Yeah.
All right. What is this, like, autism? That we're, like, because, I mean, I love Irene Strakowski, don't get me wrong, but, like, she does the same thing, like, where it's like, I'm doing a map, of a... Like, John, I could do a map, too,
Yeah.
Just draw a piece of green shit and then say, this is the lowlands, and this is the highlands, and this is Dorkville.
Yeah. It's very symmetrical, too, this land.
What does it mean? What is it all about?
I don't know. It looks like a piece of broccoli.
Piece of broccoli.
Yeah.
Looks like a Triceratops skull. Or a Styracosaurus. You know what I mean?
I see it. Yeah, the beak down below. Yeah.
Yeah. So the story here, I read the story, and the story, if there is a story, and there isn't, goes like this. This guy here is an old man who is the conqueror. He ruled, with an iron fist, this guy. And he raped a lot of 14-year-old girls.
Oh, my God.
He killed, but that isn't in the book. Mike left that part out. That's in the novel. He killed a lot of people. He's just a big fucking monstrosity, like terrible guy. And he stands on the cliff. Now, most of this book is him getting ready to jump off the cliff. And he's going through his life. And he's talking about why he should jump off the cliff. That's most of the book. Here is Mike. This is what I hate about Mike's artwork. And I do dislike his artwork. I can't really put my finger on why. There's just, by the way, I will say this. I like this a lot. Like, this looks really good. I'm very happy with this. I'm pleased with this. As soon as I turn the page, I see this and I go, oh, it's Mike. It's Mike. I don't know what it is. Like, it's so dorky. Like, look at this. This is a knight. Look at his face with all his teeth showing. Like, everybody has like a full set of dentures in their mouth at all times.
Yeah.
Look at the vampires. They all have the same stupid haircut. They're not scary at all. They're just kind of like Mike drawings. And, you know, it's like, oh, here's a whole army of flying superhero vampires. Like, this looks like an Ivan Rice Green Lantern cover coming at this little family here. And I just look at it and I go, whatever this was meant to accomplish, it failed. I mean, I appreciate the effort that went into it, but, like, Mike has absolutely no sense of telling a story cinematically. None. And he can draw just fine. I mean, it's not like I could look at anything here and go, well, this is wrong or anything like that. That's what Mike does. But you see, Mike cannot tell a story in a way that's like, wow, that really moves me. This scene meant something to me a little differently than the prior scene. This here is supposed to be a terrifying moment when the family, a family from like Middle Ages kind of fantasy times, is fleeing their home because flying vampires are coming at them. And it looks funny. Like, it's comical, Mike. I mean, John, it's comical.
Yeah. Yeah, and the lettering here, the placement of the captions, that's terrible. Like, there's an odd, like,
it gets worse.
If you were to draw a line, what would you say that reading order is for those captions?
Okay, so I would say that it goes from here to here to here.
Yeah.
And then from here. But it doesn't. It goes like that.
Right.
Instead.
It's a fucking mess. Take the one in the top right out and move it into that whole diagonal line, and then they all get read in order.
Yeah. He does this all the time, too, because there's a lot of, like, double-page spreads like this with, like, multiple panels. And as I was reading it, I was really, like, you know, Graham Nolan congratulated me because I showed an 8-panel grid page of CYBERFROG, and he's like, it reads so good to see an 8-panel grid. It feels so good. And I remember drawing it and being like, I'm like, here I am kind of telling a story a little bit with the camera. It's not really like that exciting to draw something like that, but I must say, when you're reading it, it's a relief to have a grid, to have panels. Where the artist isn't being so fucking creative and just like telling the story. Every now and then just tell a fucking story. And stop showing off. And this knight is so fucking gay. Like, look, oh, this is him. Look at his sword, dude.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, that took me a second there. I thought that was like, I was reading that as like some kind of short blade. And I was like, what? I was just
it's going up her skirt, dude, and it disappears.
Yeah, it just disappears up her fucking dress. Like, what the
You know what would have solved that? If this were a panel.
Right?
If this were a panel, it would have been so much better. Like, you don't have to worry about where the sword goes here, because the sword should literally, since this guy's bigger and he's in the foreground, the sword should literally go up and over every other aspect of this page.
Right.
But it doesn't, because Mike had to try to be creative, and he's like, oh shit, now what do I do?
Yeah.
Let me just make the sword disappear up her fucking dress. And there are, two different ways to solve that. A, just announce that this guy's in the foreground of all of the whole thing, and then have his sword go up here. Or, for God's sake, draw a panel so that we can at least follow it, and you'll be able to read the dialogue, etc., etc.
Or Mike is just a pervert.
Oh, I didn't even consider that.
Yeah. He's like, look at me. It's going up her skirt. Notice it doesn't come out the other end.
Look how stupid these vampires look. Look at this fat one here. This looks like Mike.
That's what I was about to say.
It does look like Mike. Oh, God. Who cares? All right, so here we go. Now we got the guy. He's holding his sword. You know, it's just silly. I mean, there's a lot to like about what Mike does. I like the backgrounds here. You know, it's like he does fully draw the backgrounds. He is working really hard.
He can be my background artist any day. Any day.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. Like if Mike wants to come in and do you know, some background, maybe render some trees for me.
Draw some bricks.
Draw some bricks. All right, so this guy, look, I conquered everything. Hooray. And you got the women here. Everything Mike does, like none of this is real. I don't believe in any of it. This is pretty nice. I like this panel here. But again, you run into the same problem. John, how do you read this? What do you think? Do you think you go from here to here and then over to here?
That's how it feels. That was my first impression. I was a little confused. But then I looked at the archways continuing on the next page, and I'm like, okay, it must go over.
It must go like this, right? I read this page 4 times before it made any sense. I went, it's got to go like this because this panel bleeds into this. Look, she's over here and here.
Yep.
This is all one image. So surely I'm reading this, and then I read these, and then I come down. Nope. Wrong.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Psych. From here to here.
No.
Is how you read it. Yes.
What the fuck? Did Mike?
By the way, Mike.
Blame? Who gets the blame for this shit?
Well, I mean, it had to have been Eric Weathers that. Who lettered it? No, somebody named Dave Lamphere lettered it.
Oh, Dave. No, and you know what? Fuck you, Dave, but also fuck the editor who left that like that. Whoever was overseeing this.
That's Mike.
Mike. Yeah, Mike, you dummy.
Yeah, all it's right. Good. Send it to print. Let me get my money.
So you got some people hanging here. This is interesting. I like this here. I like the hanging post. And I like the feet in the foreground where Mike kind of used 1-point perspective to push them all the way so you see a full figure here. That's very nice. What I don't like, again, is I don't like the fucking gayness of this kid sitting there. You're watching people die. And look how cartoony and cute this kid is. Like, Mike, the thing is, Mike, again, doesn't even... This kid's supposed to look disheveled and stuff.
Yeah, the kid is ripped. Look at his forearms. Like, this kid
he looks great.
An athlete.
Yeah, he looks just fine. Look at his hair. His hair's like Kirk Cameron's hair. You know, it's like Mike has a real problem, like really setting the mood or setting a scene or selling any of this. I don't like, as I read this, I don't believe a goddamn bit of it. None of it. None of it is real. This knight with his face and his eyes too close together. I don't believe him. I don't believe any of this. Look at the flying knights behind him. I don't believe this guy with his big teeth.
Is that the Conqueror?
I believe that is the Conqueror, yes.
Okay.
As he's remembering the good old times and considering suicide, which is what I was doing when I was reading this morning. All right, so here we go. Back on the cliff, he's remembering, and now he's going to step off the cliff, okay, and just end it all.
Yeah,
and
the end.
The end. That should be it, right?
Yep.
It isn't, though, because as he falls... Shad does this whole thing where Shad doesn't want to say God or the devil, evil or darkness, or evil or goodness. So, like, light is goodness and dark is badness. So he'll be like, what the dark is your problem? You know what I mean? Like, dark becomes, or black. He uses the word black to sort of be evil. You know what I'm saying? So he's falling, and then he's falling into the light, which would be heaven, right? But once he reaches light, he becomes young.
Oh, okay, that's a twist.
Right.
Wait, is he being shat back out into the world as a kid, or?
Yeah, kind of. He becomes 17 years old, but he's still like an 82-year-old man. So he's 17. You understand? You see where this is going?
That makes suicide seem cool. Like, is that the trick? So if I go jump off a cliff, I come back as a teenager with all my knowledge.
Well, you could do that, but imagine this. Imagine if you're 82 years old, or you're just older than 18, and you really want to fuck underage chicks. And then you see what I mean? You fall off a cliff and suddenly you're 17. That's legal. You can have sex with 14-year-olds.
Yep.
Think about that fantasy.
Yeah.
Because
Is that what happens?
A little bit of that in here.
Oh my God. Mike did this?
Yeah, he did. It's his idea.
Okay.
All right, so we wake up and somebody's trying to rob him. This is him now. Like, he finds himself in an alley, and this guy tries to rob him, and Mike does his Superman versus the Joker thing over again. From Injustice.
Wait, did the guy get older now? He looks older than the kid that just fell out of the hole.
He's 17.
He's still 17. He looks 30.
Oh, he looks 30. Yeah, I guess so. But he's supposed to be 17, but he's got like the memories and everything of his 82-year-old self, and except his body works now, so he can easily cut this guy's head off with a dagger. You ever try to cut someone's head off with a dagger before? With a knife?
No comment. You want to use an axe. You want to use something with the weight. You know, you don't want to be messing around with the tendons. I mean, it's tricky. The bone, just a good old axe swing takes care of it pretty well.
Yeah. All right. This isn't bad. I like Mike's artwork here as he cuts this guy's head off and he goes, "Ah!" Yeah. Mike likes drawing like a lot of teeth. Like, mouths are always open all the way so that you can see. Look, like even.
Yeah, it's a very square. It's a very square set of teeth. It looks like it doesn't look like it arches around it. It's just like kunk, kunk, kunk.
Yeah, you mean right here, like. Dun, dun, dun,
yeah. A little bit of an arch. A little bit of an arch would be okay.
Yeah. All right, I gotta skip some pages, or else Mike is gonna copyright strike us. By the way, way to trace the Spider-Man movie poster from 2002, Mike. As he climbs up the wall, do you recognize this?
Yeah, I see Tobey Maguire climbing the wall.
Why does Mike have to do that? Why does he have to trace the Spider-Man movie poster from 2002?
And he's just, I don't know.
Mike, just draw.
Getting that money. I bet Shad pays on time.
Yeah, he does. So here he is in bed with a child, and he remembers how his own daughter was taken from him, and he tells the child to leave. You remember this is oh wait, no. This is him. This is him in his older self. This is him remembering his past, I think.
Oh, when he was raping young girls.
Yeah, when he was raping young girls. It's not now. It's not like him at 17. He's up there remembering it. He's remembering when he used to do stuff like that. And then
is he
falls.
Remorseful, or is he upset because he can't do it currently?
He's a little bit remorseful. He's remembering that girl. He's remembering how, like, he told her to go away. Maybe he shouldn't have told her to go away. Like, he could have, like, raped her a couple more times. So he's like, she never even knew that I cared. That kind of a thing.
Oh, maybe now they're the same age and he can get back with her. It's kind of like Big in reverse.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that's exactly what it is. I mean, that is the fantasy here, John.
Oh, I hate when people write IE, by the way.
IE.
That's the sound that, like, remember Tom and Jerry cartoons when Tom would get plucked by a pin? He'd go, "Yee!" like that and fly into the air.
You're allowed one per comic, one IE per comic. You do two.
Oh, that's it.
Oh my God, bugs me no end.
And more of the blade worship here. Here's a dagger. I couldn't.
A small one.
It's a small penis. Everything is yeah, of course. I couldn't. It's too fine a blade. I hate the idea of loving swords. I really don't like it.
It's the finest sword. It's the finest sword in all of Australia. It's the finest blade.
I don't like that, John.
Yeah.
Well, we don't use swords around here. We use guns.
That's right.
We're Americans. We haven't had our guns taken from us on some fucking crooked island. Like, we still have guns here. So, like, fetishizing swords, we don't understand that. We're like Raiders of the Lost Ark, that Indiana Jones scene, where the guy comes at us with a scimitar, and we're just like,
tired. Boom.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course. My gratitude is yours, sir.
And he's got his little sword here. All right.
Yeah, now he's got
dagger.
that old man, the old man's penis in his hand, and look at that lady looking at it. She's like, it's right next to her fucking mouth, like he's about to shove it into her mouth.
Right here, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, come on, Mike. Hey, Mike. Hey, Mike.
What does this look like to you? Right here.
I can't see it.
Oh, I'm just saying you can see what enough of it here. What does this look like?
Brow line?
No,
Can
it's
you slide the book up? Can you slide the
no,
book
I can't.
up a little bit?
Oh, maybe a little. No, this is a vagina. And these are legs.
Really?
Yeah. It's very subtle. It's very subliminal, John.
Yeah.
But I want you to understand, this is a woman here, and this is a vagina. These are her inner thighs. See what I'm saying? And that is her vag. Now you can see it.
God, Mike.
Now I'm going to get this whole thing struck, because it definitely looks like a vagina. But it isn't, though. It's this guy's face. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, more of this. Mike's got some ladies fighting here. This is gay. They're having an honor duel here.
Two of the most boring pages you will ever see in comic bookdom, right here. They're uninteresting shots. It's just bad. There's a tangent there in panel 1, 2, 3, 4 with is it a little box on the old man's collar? Previous panel to that.
Oh, this one right here.
Where it's right up on the old man's collar. It's just weird. And the arm doesn't look attached. It's kind of like that. Like the elbow is coming out of his stomach or out of his heart. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. This was really agony to read. Because it is, it's okay. It's like, Mike's stuff is like Jamal Eigel's stuff. That's who I compare him to. Where you look at it and you go, yeah, it's okay, but I don't want to, the story needs to be really good. Because Mike's stuff is fine, this is fine. It doesn't hurt me. It's just,
there's no funk.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm not excited about any of this at all. All right. So he gets a magic spell cast on his legs, and now he can run. And again, he's now like a superhero. So Mike uses the same drawing he used from Lone Star.
Looks 30 again.
Yeah, to make him. Look at this here. Like Mike with his First, the thing about Mike's artwork that I really despise is the fact that he refuses to use blacks as shadows. Like, he will not add any darkness. Like, there are no, unless something literally is black, he will not depict it as black. He will not put black shadows on anything. So
he's afraid of the blacks.
Definitely he is. This is supposed to be a scene where the women are kind of being rude to him a little bit here, because he's giggling to himself about what an asshole he is. And the women are kind of like he's laughing at us. And he's over here going, if only they knew who, that I am the conqueror, if only they knew that about me, they'd certainly piss their fucking britches. And then,
he could let him know if he's that much of a badass. Isn't he a raper? Can he just rape him and, let him know?
Yeah, he would but they're fat chicks, I think.
No, I'm just saying, if you really wanted to dominate them, you can teach them a lesson right now.
I don't want him to do that.
A real badass probably lived his life being a badass.
See, we're already in the role. The problem with this book already is that this guy's a piece of shit, and he passes as the hero of the story. So you suffer when you're reading this because you're like, this guy's a real piece of shit, and there are no heroes in this book. You're following him, and he's basically getting everything that he wants. But I do want to tell Mike, Mike, learn how to crosshatch. What is this mud? Look at it under his lower lip. Look how it just falls off of the side of his nose into nothing.
He probably spent 30 minutes shading that upper lip.
That's what it is. It's very Napoleon Dynamite. Mike, this is not, you have to learn how to put shadows on faces. The entire book is you just drawing kind of faces with no shadows on them whatsoever, no lighting, no light sources. Look at this. Never. There's never any. And then you try to do it here. I'm like, why doesn't Mike do that as a stylistic choice? And then when you try to do it and we see you fall on your face like this, like, what is it? Like, Mike, why is this area here darker than this area? What is this here? What is this line by his upper lip? What is this triangular shape that you're doing here? What is this little blotch right there? What is this? What is this blotch here? What is this blotch up here? What exactly is this? And then why is this area here completely like without the way that it would work, John? And you know this because you're not a fucking retard who's afraid of putting like a shadow on a person's face in order to convey mood, right?
Love the blacks.
And you know how to do it. So you would basically shadow the nose right here. I'm doing this, sorry, while I'm holding the book up. Like so. Then down here, okay, sure, if you want to do that. You would kind of hit a little bit on this side of the lip. Underneath, etc., etc. This looks like he's fucking a vampire and he got into some shit. But this would basically be the kind of shape that you'd be looking for here. Mike just sort of has shadow just kind of go off into nothing there. And then get up here too. Don't forget to get this too. Mike doesn't know how to do it. And I'm pretty sure that, like, you know, the reason why all of his work is this way, where, like, they're just sort of, like, line drawings of faces, is because he really does not understand. Like, he is afraid to actually render faces with light sources. He's afraid to use shadow at all.
Yeah.
There's not... Oh, look, here. He does it right here. He's got some shadow here, and it looks goofy.
Oh, it's almost identical to what you did, too.
Very close. Here we have, this is the guy who he was trying to kill. Like, he was his partner. He was his friend. We find out that he's somebody who, here he is right here. You can tell because he's got green hair. And they're in a sword fight together, and he wounds him. This is a
sword fight, yeah. You, I trust.
This is a scene lifted from, and I don't know what came first, but this scene was lifted from
Flash
that
Gordon.
show. No, that show about Henry VIII, which is the Tudors. In the Tudors, Henry Cavill, is it Henry Cavill that does this? No, it isn't Henry Cavill. It's one of Henry VIII's other men. Jousts him. They're in a jousting contest for fun to show off the king is jousting, and the king forgets to put his helmet down, his visor down. And so, you know, he gets hit with the lance, gets knocked off, and he's bleeding. Exactly right there. He's like bleeding like crazy. And the guy falls to his knees and says, "Oh, please don't kill me. I have a family. I'm your friend. I'm loyal to you." And the king goes, "Ha ha ha ha, no, it's okay. We're fine." This scene was completely ripped off of that scene from the Tudors. It goes exactly the same way. Exactly the same way here. And I'm pretty sure the Tudors came first.
Just real quick on that previous page, the old guy was putting his hand on another phallic object. If you flip it back one.
Flip it back a page?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, look, there's
big giant cocks. Both hands are on cocks. Big brown cocks. Okay, that's all I wanted to point out.
Yeah, I don't know if this scene, because I understand Mike like wrote some of this in. I am not in Mike's Discord, but somebody who is in Mike's Discord told me that Mike was making fun of Shadiversity, and he said the story was kind of sucky, so he had to fix it. I was like, please give me evidence of that. Please give me evidence of Mike saying that shit. He's like, nah, it was a voice chat, so it's gone.
Now, so did Shadiversity actually go in and write any of the script or dialogue, or was Mike controlling it? Because it looks like a lot of like narration. I would expect that from, you know, an actual writer, like a novel writer. Or is that Mike? Is that Mike throwing in all that extra narration that was back there?
This is Mike. Basically, Mike said, "I'll take your book and I'll turn it into a comic book."
Oh, okay. So he's the blame. Okay.
Yeah, this is Shadiversity was like the guy who wrote the book, the novel, but Mike took the novel and broke it down into a comic book, I believe. so now it's like, I've decided that even though we had that thing from before where this time I believe you're a traitor, I'm going to have to kill you. I wish I had done this to Mike, like in 2019. Like, I read this scene and I felt like I could relate to it. I'm sitting there saying, this would be me right here. And I'm saying to him, like, I've given you so much, you know, and you're a piece of shit, and I know you're betraying me and scheming with others to overthrow me. And this is similar, like, duplicitously saying, no, I would never do that. I'm loyal to you. This should have been you and Cecil. Please, please execute Mike. And then, you know, you're going to chop his head off. But the guy, this guy even looks a little like Cecil. He feels bad for him and lets him go, which is a big mistake. Because this is him now, the guy in the boat. He's like, I'm going to find the Conqueror and I'm going to, you know. But I mean, I related to this scene. I was like, wow, it's like Shadiversity has like lived my life in some way. Like he wrote this scene where, yeah, like, you know, he should just execute his people who weren't loyal to him. More gay superhero stuff in this fantasy book. Oh, man.
Low effort, too.
Yeah. Hey, and by the way, this guy's starting to discover that he is the Conqueror now. It's like, oh, are you the Conqueror? No, I just look exactly like him, and my name is the same as his. I like this here. I like the effeminate hip cocking here.
Yeah.
See that action happening there? Like, that was deliberate. Like, have you ever drawn a man who, like, was standing there with his hip cocked to the side like a woman?
No. Never.
That's not, like, something that you would naturally do. Like, you would have to go, this guy, like, you would have to have this thought in your head, like, this guy's very sexy, so I'm going to put his hip cocked to one side.
Yeah, that's signaling. That's what homosexuals do to one another. You stand, you know, a little feminine. That's like saying, "I'm down."
Yeah, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
Real funny. He slides in there. They're eating some sticky buns. Look at him. He loves the sticky buns. Kind of reminds me of Ian Churchill's art in places. Hooray! Huzzah! Here's the sword. He gets the sword.
Yay.
You want to?
It'll be a great accessory.
Yeah. And then he finds the guy, and they have to look at the mouth with a lot of teeth in it and everything. A lot of McFarlane there.
I don't know. I keep seeing the dude from Flash Gordon, that fucking bird dude.
Yeah. All right. On guard. They're having a fight. See, this book is depressing because this guy's a piece of shit, like, in every single way. And this guy here, who was the guy, he had, honestly, he should have green hair so that you recognize that he's the guy with the green hair. But he doesn't. He's got, like, white hair and a beard now, so just visually, like, it's kind of a little awkward. But the guy's a piece of shit, and this really shouldn't happen. Like, he's sitting there saying, in battle, he's like, look, you know, I have this special gift. Obviously, the light chose me and all this stuff. He's like, but I know I'm a piece of shit who deserves to die. And
very feminine in the posing there, too.
Yeah.
Like, his head's back, his back has got that real sharp arch in it. Just,
the costuming really bothers me, too. Like, why is he dressed like the Rocketeer? Like, I mean, I don't know, man. It doesn't strike me as like medieval fantasy. It does look like something else to me. It's like Mike is a superhero artist who should not be doing this.
He's not even, I don't know, man. Like, Mike's barely a superhero artist. He's just like, this is exactly what Mike should be doing. Like, if you have a novel out there and you want someone to adapt your novel, but not have a distinct style that might overshadow anything, you don't want the artist to be more flamboyant. You don't want to get like a Todd McFarlane or somebody very stylized on your thing, because then people are going to be talking about how great the style is on it. You want them to talk about the story, the words, right? The story. So you get the most generic artist you can find.
Generic, yes.
And look, it's all mostly perfectly adequate work. It's, you know, he's a guy that's going to turn in the pages for you when you need him turned in. but you're gonna lack soul. You're gonna lack that extra level of drama. You know, even going back to where you were shading in the guy's brooding face in the sunlight. Like Mike missed that.
Well, yeah, there's none of that in any of this. There's no mood.
Yep. You want a sword fight? Here you go. Here you go. Look, it's a sword fight. There you go.
Yeah.
You got it.
Like, I mean, think about what you could do here. Like, just, you know, these guys like drenched in sweat, like coming down his face, like he's just fucking scared and like ripped up and everything. And it just looks like it, you know, it's just not good. So he stabs him, he kills him, and the end of the story is the guy goes, "You're a piece of shit. Like, you did all this, you killed my family, and I never betrayed you." And I say that this was a betrayal, though. So I think that, you know, I know what Shad is trying to say. Like, Shad is trying to say, like, oh yeah, you know, this guy's a piece of shit because he killed his friend who was loyal to him and he never betrayed him. But, you know, at the same time, like, I consider this to be a much bigger betrayal than whatever, you know. So this guy came at him like, "I'm going to kill you." It's like, when you say, "I never betrayed you," yes, you did just now. So
yeah,
fuck
you. Stab in the back.
Yeah, tried to kill me with your stupid knights.
Yeah, my criticism would be, like, again, on 2 pages where there's some actual action going on, there's not a single panel here that's like what would be described as like your splash panel or anchor panel, that one big, like, wow, this is a good one. And it probably would be the stab panel. You know, if I was laying this out, I'd say, okay, well, we're going to do the stab panel. So that's going to be the big, cool shot. That's going to be very dramatic. And then maybe you have to shrink some of the other ones around it. But you got, you know, you take something in the story and you emphasize one of those panels. And nothing here is emphasized.
What's emphasized here is homoeroticism. Because, again, as his friend is falling, he grabs his shirt and then pulls down and reveals his pectoral muscles, you know.
Yeah, as the old man's penis is falling to the ground.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Very gay. And there we go. And this, and he's built like Mike.
Depressing hero shot. Like, it's not like, is this supposed to be the wow man? And that guy's a cool guy, or he's fucking, I don't know, like, what is that page saying to anybody?
What it's saying is that Mike is short, and he thinks everybody else is short too. Because this guy is very small. He has the proportions of a midget or an 11-year-old boy, which Mike kind of has in a way. Mike is a very short guy. Here he is, feeling bad about himself, and then we've got this guy behind him checking out his ass, which is another thing that Mike tends to, and he's literally, his eye line is checking out his ass here.
Yeah.
There you go. There's and then we cut to the nothing in the back here. Mike, where is your page of principles and ethics? Like, you know, would be in an ISOM book. You could have done that, and you didn't. I don't know. What did I think of this book? I thought it was way better than ISOM. Way better than ISOM.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying that now because, like, I didn't like this book. I didn't like reading it. I really thought it was an ugly story about an ugly person drawn by an ugly midget. I did not want to read it. I did not enjoy looking at Mike's artwork. You know, I think that Mike's artwork is bland. It is colorless. It adds very little. It's cartoony. It's silly. Mike's artwork is silly. It's not appropriate for a story like this about rape. You know, it just isn't. Rape fantasy. So I don't know. I mean, I did not enjoy it, but I read it because people asked me to. By the way, flip it over and look at the difference now. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, after seeing that, after soaking in Smiller for a little while, you flip this over and you go, oh, this is what it could have been. Look at Kane and White. Shit.
That's every Rippaverse title, too. Like, it could have been, any of those could be Kane and White. And you're going to get somebody that's adequate.
So Shadow of the Conqueror, I'm going to say, I give it like a 3 out of 5 for the writing.
Oh, that's good.
Give it, yeah, I get like, I mean, I just got done reading Alpha Core and ISOM. I'm really, really kind right now. I don't those books were horrible. John, I know you haven't read them. They are horrible comics.
I have them.
Nobody's read them except for me.
Right here. Oh, that's your cover right there.
That's my cover. Look how great that is.
Yeah, it is great.
Three out of 5 for the writing. And for the art, I got to give it a 1 out of 5 because Mike put a lot of effort into this, but none of it worked. None of it landed. 0 of it. It was goofy. It was silly. It was generic. And it never really felt like what it was supposed to be. I read the story and, I had to picture something other than what Mike was giving me in order for it to make any sense at all. I mean, it really is the story. It really is a story of like Vlad the Impaler at the end of his life. This is what the story is, John. Vlad the Impaler at the end of his life going, I'm now going to kill myself. And then for some reason, some trick of fate, God reduces him back to 17 years old again. And he's right back on the rampage again. You understand? And he's out there being an even bigger asshole than he ever was. And some of the people who he victimized come after him and he kills them too in his youth. That's what this story... Did that ever feel like that to you?
It sounds cool. It sounds cool like that.
It doesn't look that... This is a gay story about a gay young superhero being an asshole.
Mm-hmm. Real quick, side note. That black guy with the blonde hair, he doesn't... I think he was black in the book, and now he looks white.
Yeah, he looks like the way the surviving member of Milli Vanilli looks today. If you've ever seen him. Oh, no, the one who died. The one who died. Yeah. Vanilli.
Himself, yeah.
That's what he looked like right before he died.
Yeah.
But you see what I'm saying? Like, that's the story, and it's a dark story. It's not a happy story. It's a depressing story. It's an ugly story. And, Mike just cartooned the fuck out of it. It looked like Chuck Jones animated it. Mike made it look silly. I just think Mike doesn't really know how to draw anything other than in his own, goofball style.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. I don't think he's
that's a shame.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is.
Now the story, like the novel you said was actually pretty brutal. The dude's raping like teenage girls, whatever. Mike is not like, he's very Christian. Was he able to pull in that brutality into the story?
No, I mean it's not in there. It's not. Mike removed it, which was for the best.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But then again,
he made it as vanilla as his artwork. Good job, Mike.
If anybody else had drawn this, I'm trying to think of who would be a more appropriate artist for this. But I mean, almost anybody would go, fuck, this is a dark story. And this guy is, a dark, creepy character. I mean, Kanan kind of gets close to it here, but he drew him like Michael Jackson here. He looks like fucking Michael Jackson in his Thriller costume.
Yeah, but maybe that guy could pass for, maybe, I don't know, for 17. Maybe. I don't think anyone's really drawing a 17-year-old.
Yeah. Butch Geist, people are saying. Butch Geist could do it, yeah. Anyway, yeah, I don't recommend this.
Silvestri? I mean, if you could.
Mark Silvestri would be amazing at this.
Yeah.
John, do you recommend this book, having just reviewed it just now? I mean, what do you think?
No, I mean, visually, no. Visually, it does not appeal to me whatsoever. And it's not just the artwork and the blandness. The colors are not very dynamic at all in the palette. The captioning, the placement looks like a nightmare. Yeah, I feel like it's not a winner.
It's a failure, a complete failure. Shadiversity should not be writing. I don't care what anyone says. I'm sure he's a nice guy. He's not a writer. All these guys think they're writers. Yeah. And the worst part about it is that he entrusted his story, his feeble story, to Smiller, and this is what Mike gave him. Cynically, Mike drew it the way that he drew it. He took a huge percentage of the crowdfunding profits in order to do this, to ruin the story and make it into something silly and frivolous. And God will punish Mike for this.
Oh, I hope so.
It's inevitable. You know, the God will definitely strike Mike down for his work on Shadow of the Conqueror, Enemies of Self. Sooner the better, God. Sooner the better, Lord.